Hi everyone, welcome back to If My Mama Knew. We want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. Tonight our topic is, can a relationship recover after cheating? So again, I'm Gigi. I'm here with Cookie,
Hi.
Cece,
Hey.
and Minnie.
Hey.
So today I'm starting us off because in one relationship that I had, which was actually my ex, I was actually first the person getting cheated on and the cheater at the end. So you know me, I'm kind of candela. For those of you that don't speak Spanish, candela is like
Fire.
no, not like that. I want to say I don't want to say a hoe, but I want to say a classy hoe. I'm candela. I'm fire. I do what I want whenever I want. And so when I got into this relationship with this guy, obviously for to keep his privacy secure, we're gonna call him pendejo. When I got into a relationship with pendejo, he was the bad boy. I had just been in a relationship with a goody two shoes, a mama's boy. And so I met this guy at my job. Yes, Gigi worked at McDonald's, Mickey D's. McChickens are fire, just in case, promoting there. So I met this pendejo at McDonald's, right? And to me, he was the bad boy. He smoked weed. He didn't care what anyone said. He got kicked out of school because he had done God knows what. So that persona to me was like shit. Like I went from a mama's boy to a bad boy, and that to me was like irresistible. So we started dating, and it took a while too. There was a bunch of things that went on before we started dating. We started dating, and so at the beginning, I was faithful, and I was faithful. I was fully committed to this relationship. But that's what happens when a nigga starts fucking with your heart, right? So we started dating, whatever. I don't know. I think it was like 3 months, 4 months in of us dating. I don't remember, to be honest with you. I get a call from him, and he calls me, and there was this girl at our job. We're gonna call her pendeja to protect her security and all that other stuff. So pendeja calls him, and then he calls me saying, listen, pendeja got kicked out of her house. Her mama kicked her out. She has nowhere to sleep. She's sleeping in the park. She has no clothes. So obviously, me being the saint that I am, I'm like, oh my God, pobrecita, let's help her out, whatever. So my dumbass let her stay in my car, let her use my clothes, let her use my car, and then let me tell you what happened. What you think, Cookie, about that?
Did your mom know?
Oh, no, that's the even worse part. I was going to get to that. So everything was done sneakily, right? I had to like sneak blankets into my car. I would leave my keys in the mailbox. And so when the pendeja would come and get my keys to sleep in my car, and then she would leave by like 5, because at 5 my mom would get up. It was this whole mess, girl, let me tell you. But I did all those sacrifices for that pendeja because I felt bad, of course, right? Me being the saint at that time. But in other words, I was being a pendeja. So then fast forward a little bit, like 2 weeks after that, we had just had sex with pendejo, and we were getting in the shower. You know, sex and shower, that's the way to go. Make sure you gotta clean your punani before and after sex. That's so you don't get a yeast infection. Public announcement. So whatever, we get in the shower. I shower first. He was there, and then I hear his phone ring. So I get out of the shower because I was already done. You know, already washed my punani. I answer the phone, and he's like, "Hey," she's pendeja. She's like, "Hey, is pendejo there?" And I'm like, "He's in the shower. What's up? I need to talk to him." I'm like, "Well, what do you need? He's in the shower. I need to tell him that I think I'm pregnant with this kid." And I was like, "Excuse me?" And I was like, "Oh my God, no, she did not just say this." And I was like, "Okay, don't worry. Oh, I'll let him know once he gets out of the shower." I hang up the phone. I put the phone to the side. Mind you, I was naked when I'm answering this phone call because I had just gone out of the shower. So I started thinking, and I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do? I started going back to my Medea days when that bitch used to throw oil at him. So I was channeling my inner Medea. So you know what? No, I did calm and collected. Obviously, I changed because I'm not gonna go fight with someone naked. Because we had just gotten out of the shower. I even dropped the towel and everything. You imagine his mom would have walked in and yo ahí con el culo pelado, about to like beat his ass. So whatever. So I come and I'm like, hey, he's still in the shower. Hey, are you almost done? Yeah. And he comes out. Your baby mama's on the phone and she needs to talk to you because her period hasn't come yet. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm like, well, apparently, while I was lending my car so this pendeja could sleep. You were fucking the pendeja. He's like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. Complete denial. I was like, listen, boo, I'm gonna go. You deal with your baby mama drama. I'm gonna go. And I left. I completely left, nothing. And then the thing that pissed me off the most was a friend told me, oh no, they were making out in Bayside. And I didn't listen to that friend. I was like, bitch, you on crack. I didn't even listen to her. And I almost lost that friendship because of that. What you think, Cece? What you think?
But was it true that she was actually pregnant, or was she just telling you that in order to, affect the relationship?
So pendeja isn't right in the head. She's never been right in the head, right? From what I have understood from what I've dealt with her in the past, well, and after that and all that, she's not right in the head. So I think her period might have been late and she assumed she was pregnant, but then again, like 2 months later, she was telling another homeboy of mine the same thing. Oh, I think I'm pregnant with your kid or whatever. So she was at home. She was an A-class home. But then I felt stupid because I was like, bro, I'm here letting this girl my clothes, giving her my car so she can sleep, take it out to go to interviews or figure out where the hell she gonna stay at. And that's how you do me. But at the end of the day, like, I think that's an issue that all of us females have, is that sometimes we try to blame the girl. But in reality, the person we need to blame as well is the nigga that's over here sacándole la pinga a todo mundo. So I'm gonna fast forward, whatever. I forgave him. We got over that. We kept going, right? Second time, I still live with my mama until I was like 20 something. I still live with my mama. My mama was very strict. Even though I was 18, I was still in high school. She didn't let me go anywhere. So he would go out to clubs or whatever. And so I don't know why that night I woke up and I was looking through Instagram like in the middle of the night, and I see him making out with a girl on his Instagram page, right? And I'm like, oh, okay. And I was like, you know what, maybe I'm asleep, whatever. So the next day, right, I went back to sleep. I was like, it's all good. The next day, he hits me up, hey, baby, what's up? I'm like, don't you baby me, nigga, when you were swallowing tongue last night. No, what are you talking about? And I screenshotted the thing. You gotta be smart. You gotta be smart when you dealing with the sneaky ass motherfuckers. You gotta be smart. So I screenshotted the thing because the moment I woke up the next day, it wasn't there. What you think, Cookie? What you think?
Honestly, I was about to tell you, oh, did you screenshot? And I'm like, once you said you screen that, I was like, oh, you caught his ass. Like, he can't say nothing.
No, y espérate, because he said something. Espérate. You want to know what he said, Cookie? You want to know what
Tell
he said?
me, tell me.
Se me subió la bilirrubina, like my mom says when she's mad at me. That nigga told me it was an app. That the girl had fucking photoshopped the fucking lips together and uploaded it. That it was an app. And I told him, nigga, you better tell me the name of that app right now because I'm about to Photoshop some curves on me. Nigga told me it was an app. Me vio la cara pendeja. He's like, no, maybe it was an app. This girl got my phone. I don't know what the hell she downloaded. And I was like, ¿qué clase comimiento? So that's 2. 1, 2. Uno, dos. The third time, right? The second time, let's say it was like maybe a year into our relationship, right? But I had already introduced pendejo to my mom. And when I introduce someone to my mom, I want it to be a relationship that'll last because if not, my mom will get back to me and be like, vos viste que yo te dije que te alejaras de ese pendejo y ahí estás metida y mira cómo te dejó. And I didn't want to hear that, especially because I was already 18. I was getting ready to, like, the moment high school ended, fly out and go clubbing and be everywhere. So I didn't want to hear it from my mom. So I think that's one of the reasons why we lasted. And obviously the other one was that I was in love. I was blindly in love. By the second year, though, like the first year and a half, I was cheating too. And I don't go into a relationship thinking, bro, I'm gonna cheat on this nigga after like 2 months. I don't. But either I get bored or if you do me wrong, I'm gonna do you wrong. So every time I'd go out, well, what I used to kind of do is like when my mom would have her parties, I would go to the parties, and if I met a guy, I'd kind of make out, and then I'd go home after that, I'd go to another party with my actual boyfriend at the time, pendejo. So when you go into a relationship like that, it's like, okay, I know how bad I felt when he cheated on me, but at the end of the day, I don't know what he's doing all the time, so what the fuck? YOLO. And that's exactly what I did. I went from being the cheated to being the cheater. Do I know if he ever found out that I cheated on him? Pretty much the rest of our relationship? I don't know. And I don't think so, because he had threatened someone that when he found out that she was cheating on his homeboy, that he was going to go put sugar in his gas tank or whatever, or salt in his gas tank or whatever. I don't know. So when we come down to it, then I start cheating on him. I start going out with other guys. I start making out with other guys. I never gave my punani. No one touches punani while I was in a relationship. That's the only thing that like I drew the line. But you can pretty much manipulate guys with words, and then a little tongue-to-tongue action. So that's what I did. That's how I got away with it. And then we came to the point where I honestly didn't care if he was cheating on me, and I don't know if he knew that I was cheating on him, but it wasn't a real relationship, you get me? It was just like, okay, we'll see each other at this time, we'll hang out, we'll do this, and then after that, forget about it. And we'll fuck fuck at the end of the night. I'll sleep over at your house. But at the end of the day, it wasn't a real relationship. What you think, Cece? What you think?
So basically, it had turned into more of a friends with benefit kind of thing, or like a men's. What was it? The word that mean used?
Maintenance man.
Maintenance man. Yeah, at that moment, you get me. It wasn't more of that, and you guys were okay with that. I guess he was okay with that too.
That's the thing, though. I don't think he knew he was a friends with benefit at that point. I knew what I was, and I was okay with it, but he might have been fucking other girls, and I was okay with it, but at the end of the day, I don't know if he knew or not. So it got to the point where I was like, fuck it, YOLO. I don't know what he's doing, so he doesn't need to know what I'm doing. What happened? What's up, Cookie?
I feel like he knew, but I don't think it was like a friend of benefit thing for him in his mind. I think more he's like, I have an open relationship now. And he wasn't stressing that out.
I would think the same thing too. At the end of the day, I don't know if he knew or not. At the end of the day, I don't care. Because the way the relationship between me and Pendejo went, I ended up meeting my now husband. And obviously my husband started as my amante, because I was still technically in a relationship with Pendejo. But I met my amante, my boo, my husband now, and honestly, I think it happened for the better. Obviously, I was a little hoe, just a bit, and I did like take a like 4 month sabbatical from like getting in any other relationship when I finally finished it with Pendejo. Oh no, let me tell you how it finally ended with Pendejo, because I had met a guy on Tinder. Right? Those little dating app shits. I had met a guy on Tinder who I was actually interested, that was not my husband now. And so we were hitting it off. Everything was fine. I was still in my relationship. But then I didn't, like, the guy was going to the Army or the Navy. I don't know where the hell he was going. And I already had a Dear John freshman year, and I wasn't going to go through that again. So at the end of the day, I was like, he comes, he takes me to like a BK, and he's like, I need you, this is and that, I love you. And I'm like, listen, I need a break, because at the end of the day, I don't know if I want to be with you or if I want to be with him. And that's how I said it. We were at a BK. I'm never going to forget that. So then, whatever, we take the break. The moment we take the break, the day after, he takes a snap with his ex-girlfriend that he knows I can't stand. That bitch is Voldemort to me. She's been Voldemort all of high school. Even after we graduated, she was Voldemort. So he takes a snap and he just focuses on her. And I was like, okay, good to know, no problem. So I texted after that. I'm like, listen, all we're doing is harming each other, and there's no point. I don't want to be with you. I don't know if I want to be with you. You don't know if you want to be with me. At the end of the day, like, we're just fucking each other over. And honestly, there's no point. I don't love you anymore. I don't care what you do anymore. At the end of the day, like, I feel like I deserve better. But at the end of the day, like, I feel like depending on who the relationship you're with, and if it comes to the point where you have to cheat, then you shouldn't be in that relationship. That's what I think. But what do you guys think?
In my point of view, at the fact that I do have to agree, like, that happened a long time ago, and look at you, you have your husband now, and he's wonderful to you. I've seen it. So I think whatever happened in the moment, you learned your lesson, you did what you had to do, and then you got to a better relationship, a healthier relationship, and a happy relationship. So I'm proud, 100%. But I feel like at the same time, a lot of people wouldn't be able to like get over that issue of trust issues. So what's your point of what do you think with somebody who will have trust issues because of that?
So I did have trust issues for many, I mean, not many years, but you become insecure at a point, right? You think like, oh, he's looking at his phone, so he's probably texting a girl, or oh, why is he staring at that girl? Like you become insecure of yourself and the new relationships that you form. And that's what I personally think. So you have to realize that at the end of the day, not all relationships are gonna be like the bad ones you've had. And it's hard. It's really hard because you, after going through so much shit with someone that you thought you were gonna spend the rest of your life with, to think like, oh shit, I may have to start again, or I might not even find someone again. Like you kind of like knock yourself down. Now, again, I was a little hoe, so my suggestion, I guess my remedy for that was going clubbing. So do I think it's gonna take a long time to trust someone? Yes, but if the person is worth it and you're worth it to them, they'll wait however long they have to. So now I want to know, Cece, what do you think?
Okay, since you got married and he was your lover and everything, he had any insecurities of you like cheating on him, or like the situation that he already knows that you were in? Because
Oh my God, yes. He hated when I called him my amante.
because that's a different type of level.
So listen, my husband is straight up Honduran. So they have that machismo type, right? And I've experienced that with all the Hondurans I've been with. Obviously he knew he was the side nigga, because he knew at some point I would have to leave, or if my boyfriend at that time called me, that I'd have to answer. He knew that. But there was also this sense of like machismo, that like shit, like why do I have to keep sharing you, stuff like that, right? So, and aside from that, he also knew I was a little hoe. I was a classy hoe though. No one ate my punani, but I was a hoe. I made out with niggas. I'd go out. I had like a month that each weekend I would have a different nigga take me out to the movies. And I didn't pay movies for like a month, and I saw the new movies. So as he started to get to know me, because we both played soccer and he only knew me as like a soccer person, as he started to get to know me, he realized that I would hang out with a bunch of guys, that I would do this, I'd be out every weekend. And so when we started a real relationship, he was super insecure, because he figured if I could do that to pendejo, then I could do it to him too. And it took a long time for him to see, like, I was like, listen, like, whatever I did in my relationship before was because I wasn't comfortable in the relationship I was in. But again, did my old relationship and the way me and my husband started as my amante affect him? Yes, completely, because there was a couple months where he didn't trust me.
Because it's different going from like being lovers to like an actual serious relationship. So that's a different step. So that's why, because I mean, we all know him and we all get along with him and we know how he treats you. But just the first couple of months is kind of like what happened in that between you guys, because at that point we never ask, hey, how's it going, or like what's changed, or like the little dynamic is different.
That was my experience with cheating. So now I want to hear Minnie, tell me a little bit about, obviously not about you, but tell me a little bit about what do you think about this topic. Can a relationship recover after someone cheats?
I would have to say it all depends on the relationship and the people involved. Each person is different. Each relationship is different. My personal experience is very limited. I'm just gonna be honest. In all the relationships I've ever had, which is not many, I've cheated. And I just think that was because of my immaturity. Yes, Cece.
How come we just heard of that? Like in every single relationship you cheated. That's the first that I hear that. Like, yo, I mean, I'm mind fucked right now, just to tell you that much. Like literally.
Yes, Gigi.
What you talking about, man? We know she's cheated on every single thing. Minnie only has a really long list of the perfect guy. So obviously, the moment she finds una cosita mala, he didn't say bless you after I sneeze. That's it. Olvídate, se fue a la verga. So I honestly, I don't find that surprising. Minnie's más complicada que saber qué. So I honestly understand that she would cheat in every single relationship she's in. No offense, Minnie.
No, I'm surprised just for the fact that usually she just drops him. Like, it's like, oh, he's boring or this or that. And I no longer want to talk to the person. So for me, instead of cheating, I will understand for her to just drop him and like move on to the next or just not have someone for a while, but not to that extent.
Yes, Cookie.
So the thing here is that I'm not surprised. I'm the same with Gigi in this situation where I'm not surprised she has a big list of the perfect guy that she wants. In that point. But the thing here with her, if the guy benefits her in a certain way, she'll keep him. But if she doesn't want it, if she doesn't like him that much, she'll like get another one.
I love how you guys put me on the spot. Gigi, what are you gonna say?
Benefits, girl. Come on, this isn't life insurance, Cookie. Minnie has a very selective list, right? He can't be tall but too tall. He can't be short but too short. He has to be taller than me, which is everyone in the whole world because she's really short. And then you go into another list that's like 130 pages long. And so let's be honest. At one point she was interested in some doctor, right? Doctor, hello, make it rain, money, his nose was too big. So at this point, it's like, okay, I want to hear. I understand you cheating on your relationships because you even your nicknames for your dudes are like crazy. So I want to hear how did you cheat, or which was the worst cheat? Like, I don't know, the worst cheater time, the worst time you cheated on someone. Like, I want to know. I'm interested now.
That's actually a good one. I mean, most of the times I've cheated on someone is because I would always have someone on the side. And so I would tell one person I'm asleep or I'm hanging out with the girls, and then I would be with the other person. Or I just ghost him for a while until I felt the need to talk to them again or to meet up again. Whatever I felt like doing at the moment. But I would say the one that really taught me a lesson, and like this has followed me until now. This was back when I was dating my best friend, who's the person that I fell in love with, but I didn't know at the moment. Like, again, I was very immature and I didn't know what I wanted. And so I ended up cheating on him by hanging out with a group of friends. And one of the guys that I was hanging out with was a guy that I had a thing with. Like, his nickname was Masochist. Yes, Gigi.
His name was what?
His nickname was Masochist. Well, that's what I called him.
Okay. For my pendejas, right? Can you give me a tiny explanation on what the word masochist means to you?
Okay, so masochist to me means that he would grab me, push me against the wall, like make out with me. He would pull my hair and but it was always in a sexual way. And that's the thing about me. Like, I liked it. So, yeah.
So fetish is a sucia, right?
Yes.
Okay, got it. I understood.
Yes, Cookie.
Were we the group of friends that gave you the bad influence? I need to know this.
Oh, no, this was way before you guys.
She was a perra before us.
I mean, I think I was just always so good at hiding it from you guys. Yes, Cece.
Like they say, las calladitas son las más peligrosas.
Yes, Gigi.
I don't know what the hell you were hiding, because you weren't hiding shit. We know all your dirty little corners in high school where you would go and you agarrar uno, and then we're like, where the hell did Minnie go? And she was so tiny, she would hide under the cracks of the stairs. And then when that time when I met you, that my ex-boyfriend lifted you up, twirled you around, and your quadruple G's or were all over in his face. So yeah, keep telling me you were hiding your innocence, girl, please. Every single nigga in our high school years that were friends with us at one point lifted you up, twirled you around, laid on your boobs. So, girl, please, que inocente.
Can I continue my story now? Okay. So I had told my boyfriend at that time that I wasn't feeling well, but I was actually hanging out with the group of friends, and the guy masochist was there. And so, just like always, we would sneak away from everyone else, and then we would start making out, or he would pull me to him, or things like that. And so, I felt really bad about it. So the next day, or like within the week, I told my boyfriend like I couldn't be with him, but I never told him why. Like I never told him the truth. And yeah, that's my story of cheating. And well, what sucks about this is that it cost me this relationship, and for me, it was a big loss. Yes, Gigi.
Does it still hurt?
In retrospect, I've learned my lesson. It doesn't hurt. It's just a lesson learned. Yes, Cookie.
You think that if you could do a second try, would you try to recover it?
I mean, definitely. I mean, like I said, he was my best friend. So before we started the relationship, he was always there for me. He was someone I spoke to, I was comfortable with, and I didn't know how to value that friendship, that relationship I had with him. So definitely, if I could do a do-over, definitely. Yes, Gigi.
Is this the nigga we all talk about all the time?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. Just make sure we're on the same page. Because now we're talking about a whole different nigga, and then I'm lost. I was just making sure.
Yeah. For all our listeners, you will get to know the story about me and this guy later on. I mean, he was a big part of my life for such a long period of time. But in the end, it was all my fault because I fucked it up at the way beginning. So,
girl, we are not getting into that fight now, but it was not all your fault. That's all I'm gonna say. When we get to that topic, we'll talk about it, but it was not all your fault.
All right, Cookie, you want to go next and share your experience?
Yeah, got it. Well, mine is a whole different level. Mine's like almost like Gigi story. Mine is like I wasted more time than what Gigi did. At least Gigi did it for a short time. I did it for a long time. So for me, just so you guys know what a pendejo is, because I know Gigi didn't explain that, but it's pretty much a dumbass. I'm gonna keep it simple, a dumbass. You know, and the way that she said pendeja is a dumbass, another, but for female. In my part, I will have to say that I was dating this guy. I'm gonna call him guy because he's not important to me, doesn't bother me. But I dated him in high school and I did cheat on him. I just didn't care about his feelings because back in those days, I just wanted to be me and only me. So I wasted almost like a year with him and then we broke up. And over the years past, me and him got together again and we tried to recover a relationship. But I think that's the part that made the relationship toxic. To the point where like he will bring out my past and I tell him I'm not the same person as my past. Because of course, over the years, people do grow, they learn their lesson and they're like, okay, I don't want to be this person anymore. I'm gonna be a different type of person in a better way, better myself. So that's what I did. And I explained that to him. And I was with him for like 6 years until he messed up. I just keep it short. This man and me lived together, shared everything together, paid bills together, everything of everything together. So we even shared a car together. So one day I just took the car and I was driving to work early in the morning. And, you know, me being like in a rush and everything, I quickly glanced. I saw something like a little yellow, like something, a little yellow corner thing. And I looked and I'm like, what is this? And it was obvious it was a condom wrap, but the corner of it. Yeah, Gigi?
What went through your mind when you saw that condom? Like what type of sick, twisted, I'm gonna cut his huevos off were you thinking at that time?
I'm with her.
honestly, that one moment, I was so angry. I laughed when I saw it. I was like, this moron doesn't know me. Cause I'm like Medea. I'm like you, Gigi. I'm like, they get me. I'm gonna get them. You know, like I see eye for an eye. At that one moment, I was like, I have to go to work. So I'm gonna go to work. But the whole time I work, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking of breaking his car, going through, throw it at the bridge, water, whatever I have to do. The tires gone. I was gonna like throw his TV, break his TV, everything in the book. That's how angry I was. Because imagine for someone who, like myself, who did cheat a lot back in the day, and to become faithful to a person for 6 years and actually became a better person for herself, for someone to be like that. Yeah, Cece?
Did you let him know that you found it, or you just held it inside the whole day?
Okay. I love this question because honestly, in that day that I found that, I went and I texted him, oh, what is this? Like, I'm like, what's this? I need to know what's going on. I sent him a picture. I sent him the picture and I was waiting for him to respond. And he's like, I don't know. This doesn't belong to me. I don't know. So my smart butt, the way I am, I started investigating FBI. You know, I go and I text his brother and I'm like, hey, dude, did you use his car? Did you use your brother's car anytime? He's like, yeah, I did. I'm like, oh, okay. So I sent him the picture and I'm like, oh, so this is yours? And quickly, he was like, oh, whoa, no, that's not mine. I'm like, you sure? And he's like, yeah. So I texted him back and I was like, yo, your brother said it wasn't his. Who does this belong to? He kept denying it and he kept denying it to the point like he was like, no. I let it be. Once I got out of work and I went straight home, I told him, so you're going to explain or what? He stayed quiet. He laid down on the bed. He's like, I didn't want to tell you by text. It was me. And so at that one moment, I was like, all right, I understand. Took all my stuff. And he was like, oh, I know I don't deserve you and all of that. And I'm like, of course you don't deserve me. I went and told him I'm the stupid one because I actually tried in this relationship and I actually was loyal to somebody. Yeah, Cece?
Did you find out who it was? And did he give you a reason why he actually did it?
So his reason, I'm gonna be honest with you, is retarded. But you know, I'm gonna put him on blast. I don't care. But the way that I found out, what he told me, he was like, oh, because he didn't want to look like he was addicted to sex because he wanted like sex 24/7. And I used to work I worked 12 hours every day. Yeah, Gigi?
Tú le puedes decir a ese semejante pendejo que deje de que esa es la más estúpida, for my English people, can you tell that dumbass that that's the most stupidest reason of life for someone to say that don't want to live like a sex addict? Boy, please, you can look like a sex addict, but let me tell you, vas a estar jugando con tu pajarito solo because ain't nobody gonna be a sex machine on top of your dick 24/7. What the fuck? Ese me subió la bilirrubina. Hold up. Oh God.
But that's what I told him. I told him, like, dude, like, you know, when you want it, you can tell me and I'll tell you, hey, look, I'm good to go today because I have energy. But he wanted, like, the way that he said it was he didn't want me to be tired all the time. And I'm like, dude, we're in a relationship. It's called communication. If we can't compromise, how am we gonna do this? So in the end of the day, I still cursed him out. And the whole situation of the whole issue, the next day I got all of my stuff completely. And his mom talked to me and she was like, oh, you can't blame my son. He that's what got me. He was like, you can't blame my son. He just he just likes him more than other men and you weren't giving it to him. Yeah, Cece?
That's fucked up though. that's a relationship. She shouldn't be getting in between what you guys have. And first of all, he should have talked to you. Like you said, communication is key. But that's something that it said like, hey, I want some or I need some, you get me? But for a parent to come in, even if they live with their parents, you get me, or you guys had, how I put it, more of a communication with them as a family, as a unit, you get me? It's not something that they should input into that type of situation, at least for me. They should stay out of it. What, I gotta heat it.
Yeah, Gigi, what's your opinion to this?
My mama don't know me. Ay, Dios mío, que alguien a mí me diga eso. Me sale todo. Oh my God. I would have been, listen, because my mama taught me to respect my elders, and I feel like if at any time I disrespect an elder, she smacked the fuck out of me from wherever she's at, I wouldn't have said something. But if I could say something, if my mama would never have found out that I said something, I'd tell that lady, I don't see you 24/7 on top of dick. I can't. Oh.
I honestly don't approve that she was shaming you. I mean, at the end of the day, she shouldn't have an opinion on her son's sexual relationship with his girlfriend. One thing. Two, putting down a woman just because she has other priorities, like, that's what pisses me off. We women are not meant to be subordinate to men for the sexual desires. That's just my thought.
I 100% agree with you on that point, but I was like, when she said that to me, I was more of like, I was like, man, we had a really good relationship too, to the point where I'm like, yo, you just messed up. Like, your mind works different. Like, at least if I had a son and he cheated on his girlfriend, I'm like, yo, I'm sorry, but men are men, man. They suck. That's it. Like, I'm not gonna be here trying to like, oh, he's a man, he can do that. No, a woman can do the same. But when she did tell me that, I just couldn't go back to the relationship. And especially at the fact that I found out also that he didn't do it for, like, the person he did it with wasn't even a girl he knew. It was just a random girl that he sent a message to, pretty much like, if you want to call it, a prostitute. And he did use protection. I'm glad, because imagine if he didn't, I don't know what would have happened to me. So when I found out who he was doing it with, and he showed me the text message, like the next day, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna call my gyno and I'm gonna get tested, because your dumbass is dirty, sucio, cochino, asco. Like, I feel like throwing up. You know? Yeah, Gigi?
Don't forget perro.
Yeah, that too. Like a dog and everything. Like, I'm like, yo, this is disgusting. So after that, I like broke the relationship. Oh, and by the way, let's not forget that I was engaged to this moron. Engaged to this moron. Like, yeah, Gigi.
I completely forgot that part, to be honest with you. I would have kept the ring though. Did you keep the ring?
Yeah, I kept the ring.
All right, good job. Good girl. Que vaya con mierda.
That's my story.
With me, at least, you guys know the person that we're gonna talk about, but just a previous kind of reminder. I was on and off with a guy for 6 years. After that, we broke up, and I was like dating here and there. And I had a guy that was really interested on me, like generalizing everything, marriage, living together, and everything. He only needed 1 year to graduate from engineering, electricity engineer. And I was dating the guy on and off like that. I'm like, but I wasn't really interested until I was like, okay, maybe. But then, when you're like, okay, I like him, but I don't really like him like that. So I kind of kept him around, and like maybe one other guy, just like testing the waters basically. And then I met through our group of friends, that guy I actually started dating with. And I dropped everybody else after like a couple of like in the first 2-3 weeks. And I was like, okay, you know what? let me try this out and see where it goes, since I already had kind of like trust issues, you could say, from the previous relationship and all of that. And I was like, let me try to commit, because that was my issue, honestly. I didn't want to commit with anyone else in general. But then I was like, okay, let me try it. Let me see if I can actually commit with someone. And since it was in a group setting, I thought it was going to be a lot easier than dating someone outside my group of friends, since I already had done that. But you know, things went good for a couple of months, you could say. Then it was like little problems here and there. Mostly he had his own issues, like, I guess, family wise, not because, you know, he's from Honduras, like always. And but that kind of got into our relationship to a point that it was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm sorry, like, I care for you, I love you and things like that, but I don't think we should be together just because I'm going through this, which we actually talked about it. We broke up. You guys know. And then after that, it was like that of like, I wanted to let you go, but at the same time, I don't want to. So we kept, like, you know, communication and things like that. We got back together, and then with him, it started mostly with messages. He messaged one of her sisters in Spanish, of like saying, you know, en español que le dicen, no te, ¿qué fue como era? Oh, ya no me querés, o te quiero. It was something like that. You know, I got the receipts on that one, and I was able to like be, hey, like, what the fuck, you get me? After like I talked to you about like, this is my shit, this is what I went through before, and you're doing this type of shit. So he gave me, like, you know, the big explanation of like, oh, I've had a really good type of friendship with them, and you know, she's just a friend, so like, you know, I care for her. I was like, all right, cool. Since so that was my issue at first, and then, you know, we got past that. Then like little rumors here and there, like, of that, I mean, I didn't hear until like later on, and they would tell me. And like I said, it's not like I never believed it, but there's certain things that, like I say, you need proof in order to go up to the guy and be like, hey, not, you know, you can't lie, like, tell me that. And sometimes with guys, if you don't have proof, it comes with sweet words, or that, oh, I didn't do it, or show me like receipts, you get me? Yeah, Cookie.
The whole thing about looking for proof and everything, like, did he really need to see it to be like, show me? Like, how are you gonna like prove me wrong? Did he really like justify it, like be like aggressively, or was he more of like, oh, like nice way sugarcoating it?
It was mostly the nice way of saying like, oh, if I did it, if I actually did it, show me like the first messages that I got sent, you know. He actually recognized it. He's like, okay, I did it because of this, and yeah, you're right, you fucked up. I fucked up. That's what he said. And whatever, like I said, we let it go. But then again, it comes to the other like situation. It was like mostly like asking, let me see if it's true, because I never said that, or that's a lie. Yeah, Gigi.
All right, so I see where you're going with this and how much you want to divulge, right? Because obviously you're saying the innocent things, but there's many other things that pendejo did, your pendejo, not my pendejo, that we can talk about too. But at the end of the day, like, I feel like if you have to find evidence, then is it really a good relationship? I mean, at the end of the day, to this day, we've been friends with, well, he's actually one of my husband's friends, and they've been friends for God knows how long. I still don't know how old the nigga is. He turned 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 in 1 year. 1 year. That should have been like red flag. He was 18 when he was trying to hit on my sister. He was 19 when he was trying to hit on my friend. He was 21 when he was trying to hit on you. And then he's 23, and then he goes back to 18. And it's like, fuck, man. Like, one of these days I'm going to jump that nigga, steal his ID, and be like, how fucking old are you?
I know, and you're right, but like you say that happened, and at that moment, I wasn't interested in the guy. I wasn't like, it happened while I was in the group, but I wasn't seeing it. You get me? Or I wasn't actually paying attention to those details because I wasn't actually involved with the guy. And I just, when I actually got involved with him, like everything was okay. We talked, we explained things, his things, my things. And that's when after like probably what 5 months, the problem started hitting, and of mostly, oh, the messages, the sayings of he's talking to other females, like under, I mean, I guess you can say they were underage at that time. He was 18, 19 probably, talking to what, 16, 17. I mean, I don't, at that point, I don't know. But all I know that the first message that you sent me, I actually talked to him and was like, here. But then the rest, like, that's why I would tell, like, sometimes I would tell you when you would tell me shit, just send me, because I know how how he is and how he used to be, like, back when I told them for the first messages. And it's like everything, it's not like you can say manipulation type of thing.
My question pretty much is that, no, not a question, but it's more like a statement at the fact that it sucks to be in that situation, because I used to manipulate in a sweet, honest way. So to that point where I'm like, I understand how you fall for the trick, because you're not the only person in the world that falls for that trick.
What's up, Gigi?
I also think that, the manipulation went in a way that, like, you believed him over your friends. And that's crazy that, like, at the end of the day, we get so manipulated that we completely forget the reason we have our friends there, right? That's to keep us in check, to make sure we're doing, like, to make sure that we're with the person that's going to do best for us, do right by us. So, it's crazy the amount of manipulation that can happen to the point where you don't even believe the people that have been there from you for you since day one. So it's crazy how manipulated we allow ourselves to be sometimes when we are in these relationships, and it's not healthy for us at all. Like, and honestly, I'm not gonna divulge more of your story because it's your story to share, but honestly, I think the text messages was the nice part of the whole relationship. I think it was, there was more to it that honestly he got away with manipulating you, and I think it caused a rift in our friendship, because at the end of the day you probably thought like, oh my god, these girls are just gonna keep attacking him until I decide to break up with him. And it wasn't like that, you get me? Like, at the end of the day, we just wanted you to be with someone that appreciated you for you, and that took the time to respect you the way you respected them, if that makes any sense.
Honestly, it's what Gigi said. Your friends are here for a reason. I mean, we've always said things straight out. I mean, at one point, how many receipts were you going to need before you ended things? And the other thing, that you're young, we're all young. Time is endless at this point. So starting over, it shouldn't have to be a big deal. Like, if you see that you're not in the right relationship, then it's time to let it go. I mean, at the end of the day, you're only hurting yourself and being in that toxic relationship. That's just my point of view.
I just think that if you do decide at some point that you and this person are meant to be together, to make sure it's what you want. But if your partner, if your significant other, whatever you are, doesn't even let you hold his phone and starts freaking out with his phone, then that's already like a telltale sign to me, right? Yeah. Because obviously there's different forms of cheating. There's flirting, there's sexting. Now you can send a dick and a vagina to the phone. So I think at the end of the day, like, we all have to think about what type of relationships we want to be in, where our relationships are going. And if that relationship is one where you have to have receipts or whatever you call it, proof, then maybe not the best thing. But like I said, love is blind. All right, ladies. So I think we've wrapped up everything. We need to share our stories. Does anyone have, what would you say to someone who is either being cheated on or is the cheater? What would your advice be based on our experiences? Who wants to go first, Minnie?
My advice for the cheaters is, at the end of the day, you're not doing anyone a favor. This is from personal experience. If you're young and you're cheating, it's most likely immaturity, and you won't know how that affects you until it comes bites you in the ass, basically. So don't cheat. Just be fair to everyone. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cookie, what do you think? What would your advice be to a cheater or the cheated?
I have both. I have two. I will have to say though, for the cheaters, is pretty much get yourself some help, go to therapy, because that's showing how you don't value yourself enough. And that's a really bad sign, because that means that you're willing to use anybody's feelings and not care about the consequences. And it's going to hit a point where you guys are going to regret it, because you find someone who actually you're able to show your weakness to, and to the point where you might lose them. It's going to suck. And then later, for the ones who are getting cheated, I recommend taking your time and actually think for yourself and not for that partner, because in the end of the day, you want to ask yourself, is this relationship good for me? Am I going to benefit in this relationship? Am I going to grow in this relationship? And you got to think for yourself in that situation. And if you are in a place where you are getting manipulated, just understand that this person doesn't know how to treat a person. So you need to value yourself a lot more too.
All right, I love that. If I could snap, I'd snap right now. I feel like I'm in one of those coffee talks. Cece, anything you want to tell our cheaters or cheated? Any advice before we sign off?
Yeah, the thing for me is, for someone that's being cheated on, sometimes the problem is not from you. The problem is from the person that's doing the cheating. Sometimes it's emotionally, or they have something deeper to them that makes them actually cheat. And we always blame ourselves, or like, I could have done this, or I could have done that, or maybe if I dress a certain way, or do the things that he likes, it's gonna make it better. But honestly, it's not. It only causes more problems, more drifts, and sends him kind of the wrong message to yourself and to everyone around you. So it's not a blame towards the person that is actually getting cheated on. A lot of people just have different ways of coping, and once they know that they lost you, that's when they actually realize they fucked up.
All right, guys. So we want to thank you for joining us tonight on this episode of If My Mama Knew. For all you cheaters out there, watch out, because now our girls and whoever our listeners are prepared to deal with y'all. And for those that are getting cheated, sweetie, or if you're a guy, buddy, you guys are way too special and way too good for that person. So move on and next. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and we're already on Google, Amazon Music, Spotify, and YouTube. So if this was your first time, thank you for joining us. Make sure to listen to all our other episodes. And if you've joined us before, thank you for coming again. So I'm going to sign us off. This is Gigi. Cece, do you want to say bye?
Bye.
Minnie.
Bye, guys.
And Cookie.
Bye.
Make sure to stay tuned for next week's episode. Bye, guys.